Hey guys, it's Motorcycle Prepper here. This is part 3. This is going to be, I like to call it my problem solving bag slash get home bag. You can see it's pretty big. It's the Rapton T311, I believe. I'm going to try and go through each pouch, and then there's some stuff that's kind of compartmentalized into separate organizers. Stick with me, and here we go. Alright, this is the first top flap in here, as you can see. Over here to the left, I've got my Leatherman bit adapter. I've got the Leatherman bit kit. I've got some Carmex chapstick and a Bic lighter. This is a Kershaw, I believe it's a Torx bit adapter. In the back here, you got like the most common knife Torx bits for, you know, tearing apart your folding knives, fixing them up, all that. Here in the middle, I've got a big fat wad of Gorilla Tape. You can see that Gorilla Tape's good for everything. Down here at the bottom, I've got a little thing for bits, and it's got a piece for sockets, and it's ratcheting in case I need a little bit more torque. And here, this is similar to this one, but it's got flatheads, Phillips. I think this has got something like 15 bits in it. This one here, I kind of keep, these two here, I kind of keep in place of a Leatherman, you know, just as a backup if I just had this bag. I believe this is the Tinker, so it's got the large blade, a small blade, it's got the scissors, flathead with a ball opener and the wire stripper, the flathead with the can opener, it's got a Phillips, it's got an awl, and it has a parcel hook along with your toothpick and your tweezers. Stick that back in there. And to accompany that, I believe this is called a wrench tool, but it's got a good decent spring-loaded pair of pliers. It has a knife blade on it, which is a pretty big blade. I have sharpened this, so you can see I've kind of beat the crap out of this one. Pretty decently sharp. It's mostly a backup blade. What I like about this one is it's got the adjustable wrench on the other end, and it's got a Phillips and a flathead in there. So those two kind of accompany each other pretty well in place of a Leatherman. Okay, let me move this down here a bit. It's got this nice like little zippered pouch back here. And here I've got a headlamp. I've got a spare AC adapter for phone. This is a little short cable, but it's got different bits for like an iPhone or regular phone, all sorts of different little bits in case, you know, you never know. One of your friends, one of your family may need a phone charge and not have a phone cable with them. This is a small little finger wrench for sockets. Got a couple little clamps. I've got 4/4 in some painter's tape, so they're protected, but they're not gonna get residue on them. That's in case, you know, I ever need to use a payphone or I get hungry. I do plan on putting more cash in here. This is just what I have in there for now. And lastly, wrapped in some duct tape, I've got 4 or 5 of those little compressed towels that you just add water to and they blow up. Excuse me. Alright, next we're going to go on to, this is kind of more of medical stuff. And here I've got all sorts of medicines. I've got melatonin, anti-diarrhea, antacid, antihistamine, Tylenol, ibuprofen. I've got a bunch of moleskin, gauze pads, cleaning wipes, all sorts of stuff. I've got some burn cream, some sting relief, and a couple ammonia inhalants in case somebody, passes out. Excuse me. I've got a huge assortment of gauze pads. I've got some surgical pads in case, the shit really gets the fan. I've got a roll of medical tape and two more things. I've got caffeine pills because I love my coffee. Can't make coffee, I can at least pop one or two of these and, feel a little bit better. And I've got some non-latex gloves because quite a few people have latex allergies in the world. It's better to just go with the vinyl. I think they're stronger and I think they work better. Okay, let me get all this stuff out of the way here. Okay, over here on the strap, I've got one of those little Rescue Me tools. It's got the automatic punch and the razor cutter. Over here, back behind here, I've got some earplugs. And in here, I have another survival tin. I always keep one of these with my kits. So if something really bad goes down, throw that in your pocket and you're set. I've got a paracord bracelet, which would also go on my wrist, and underneath this electrical tape, I've got a Tinder Quick cut in half, and I've got one of those pack towels for kind of wiping up your sweat, cleaning yourself up. Alright, I'm going to pause this real quick, and then I'm going to move it over to the side. Alright, this is going to be, if you're looking at the front of the bag, this is going to be the right side of the bag. Excuse me again, I apologize for that. I've got a bit of a sore throat. I've got a shredded survival pen, which has got a whistle. It's a pretty decent pen. In a pinch you could use it as a defensive tool, but you'll see I've got more stuff than that. And it's got a ferro rod and it's got a striker in it, so I've got, an extra ferro rod and a pen. And since California has silly laws about concealing a fixed blade, now you don't have to worry about that. I can process down some wood. This is an extra large cold steel Voyager in Tanto. It's got a 5.5 inch blade. You can do some pretty good wood processing with this. And you really don't have to worry about, oh, you're concealing a fixed blade. Yeah, I know, California sucks. Just saying. And in the pocket here, I have some apple cider vinegar, which is good for a good amount of different things. One thing it's really good for is if you suffer from acid reflux. This is acidic when it's outside your body, but if you take a little swig of it, it will reset the pH balance in your stomach and stop excuse me, acid reflux right in its tracks. Got a couple of these colossal apple, I believe these are like the caramel apple ones. These are really good. I like them. Emergency food. And back here I've got a couple little satchels of coffee. I'm always going to have coffee with me in every kit. If I don't, something's wrong. Pack this all back in there, and we'll move around to the other side. Alright, now we're on the other side. Back here, I've got one of those breacher bars in case I need to get in somewhere. In theory, this isn't really sharpened, but you could probably baton through some wood if you needed to. It's a really good solid chunk of steel. And over here, this pouch, I kind of call this the, for lack of a better term, I call it the oh shit pouch. This is the really bad stuff. I've got a 4-inch Israeli bandage if, you know, somebody gets a gunshot wound, anything like that, something really crappy happens. I've got a little 5-minute flare for when you really need to start a fire. This will get it going. And let me make sure there's nothing else in there. Okay. And in here, I've got a pair of industrial grade vinyl gloves, some swimming goggles, and an N95 dust mask in case there's a fire or any sort of, you know, I know it's not going to prevent from any chemical thing, but this will at least get you to where you can get going to your car. Alright, I'm going to pause it and we'll go to this back pouch back here. Alright, we're going to go to the back pouch back here. This is kind of the CCW pouch, I guess, for lack of better wording. Let's see what I got in here. I've got a 2-person heat sheet. I've got a 9x12 painter's drop cloth for an emergency shelter. I've got a gray shamag, you know, it's basically a giant piece of cotton, so you could make char cloth with it. It's a giant bandana. Everything you can use a bandana for, you can use this for, and more. And lastly, to help with wood processing, I've got a Primos folding saw. I could have put a Baco in here, but this one fit quite a bit better. And the spine's very sharp, so I could also use it as a scraper for natural tinders, or as a really heavy-duty scraper for a ferro rod. Alright, let me pack this up, and then we'll undo this flap here, and we'll move to the front. Alright, this is going to be this little front zippered pouch. It does have a zippered pouch back here. I don't put anything in there. It does have a little pouch up front here. I don't have anything in there. On the sides here, I've got a Sharpie, and I've got a little mechanical pencil. Always good to have writing utensils. And in here, I've got a pair of work gloves. These are the Wallace Lamont from Walmart. Excuse me. I've got another bandana, always useful. I've got some electrolyte tabs and some water purification tablets, and you'll see where that goes in a minute. And lastly, in this little mesh pouch, I've got some tampons and a couple maxi pads. Not only are they good to stop bleeding, but if you got a girlfriend, wife, you can save the day. Alright, in here I've got a Sawyer mini water filter. I've got a dry bag. I believe this is a 1-liter bag. A fish mouth spreader. The Work Sharp knife and tool field sharpener. Keep all your blades sharp. And I've got a little hank of bank line. Alright, now I will show you what's behind here and here, but I will have to do separate portions of stuff. I do keep 3 days worth of emergency water in this kit because it is a get-home kit, kind of a, you know, worst case scenario kit. So there's 3 days worth of water in here. This I'll go into in a separate part. This is kind of my survival slash, I'll just call it my MacGyver kit. And make sure there's nothing else in there. Alright, lastly I've got a cup and a stainless steel water bottle. I'll do another separate part on that because this is a kit in it within itself. Alright, give me just a sec. So we're going to go over the bottle kit, the MacGyver kit, and the small survival kit. Okay, first I'm going to go over the bottle kit. This is a 32-ounce stainless steel water bottle. I don't remember the name of it. I think this is about $10 on Amazon. I do have a cup to go with it that does have the graduation marks on the inside, so I can cook soup or make coffee out of it. Alright, in here I kind of keep it as a quote-unquote 5-piece kit can. I've got a large cold steel Voyager, you know, that triad lock. That's why I like the XL version for this kit, because I've actually used both of these to baton through wood and it will work and it does not break. So I got my cutting tool, got a bunch of paracord in here for my cordage. I have a couple more tarp clips, some tinder quick with a UST Spark Force, I've got a Night Eyes Figure 9 to help with a ridge line, Bic lighter, so I've got 2 sources of fire in here, plus the tinder. And lastly, I can get it out of here, I have a SOL 2-person heat sheet. So I've got cover, I've got cordage, I've got combustion, I've got a container, and I've got a cutting tool, along with some things to make setting up a shelter easier. When you're in a high stress situation, you want to make things as easy as possible. And I got a bunch of tinder. Alright, let me pack all this up and we'll go into the MacGyver kit. Alright guys, I'm back. This is my kind of like to call it a MacGyver kit. I believe this is the Maxpedition Beefy. Yeah, it's the biggest organizer they have. Just in the front here, I've got a little metal 6-inch ruler, also be used as a scraper. Got an assortment of zip ties, and there I've got a couple binder clips, and I've got one of those extendable mechanics mirrors. Let's go on to the inside. As you can see, this thing is packed pretty full. We'll start from the back on this side and work to the front. Here I've got a large signal mirror, can also be used as a regular mirror. You guys can kind of see me. I've got a bandana, a large green bandana. It's got some sandpaper, some Velcro ties, some high visibility duct tape. Over on this side I've got some foil tape, I believe it's a couple tissues, and on this side I've got a lens, another kind of cleaning cloth, and I've got a coffee filter. Set that stuff down. Make sure there's nothing at the bottom here. Oh, I do have a couple things. These are like the little free socks you get at like Payless to try your shoes on with. You could turn them into gloves, you could wear them as socks, you could possibly turn it into a hat. You could use it to fill with sand and charcoal and create an impromptu filter. Tons of uses for that stuff. Okay, over on this side here, we've got one of those little folding hacksaws. We've got one of those little folding thermosafe razors. Behind that we've got a pair of locking hemostats. Next we've got the Streamlight Stylus Pro, which actually I turned the cap slightly so it won't come on by accident. It's a pretty bright light. This was my original everyday carry light. It's another thing I want to say to everybody is if you're putting kits together, you know, start with your everyday carry. As you get bigger, better stuff, take your old stuff, put it in a kit. Don't just toss it aside or sell it. Like, keep using it. It's still good. I've had this for probably, I'd say like 10 or 12 years now, and it's still going strong. Put that back in there. I can get it in there. Behind that I've got a plastic spork, extra eating utensil for this kit. Got a couple of rechargeable AAA batteries for the flashlight. Got a nice sharp pair of tweezers. And finally on this side I've got one of those, they call them mechanic screwdrivers, a precision screwdriver, just the little small bits. These bits especially work well for people that wear glasses like me, and when your parts come loose. Alright, now we're going to shift over to this side. Starting the back here, I've got refillable butane for the torch lighter that I carry with me. I've got a little container of Zippo fuel as an accelerant for really crummy conditions. Back here I've got a WD-40 pen. I've got some OD green paracord. I've got a 6-inch white chem light. I have a pair of chopsticks. You can use them as actual chopsticks. You could shave them down for kindling or for tinder. You could break them up into kindling. You know, tons of uses for that. I've got some reflective tape. I believe this is iron-on stuff. I found it at like Joann's Fabrics or something, but I mean, you could super glue it, you could tape it to the back of your car, just something reflective. If your car breaks down, you know, they'll be able to see that. Next I have a micro stove from Bushbox Essentials. I'm not going to assemble it, but it's basically a little tiny stove that can hold about 1 Esbit fuel tab, and that'll work in conjunction with my bottle to, you know, make some coffee, boil some water, stuff like that. Next I have 2 pantyhose, kind of the similar principle with the little socks, just bigger. Excuse me. You know, you could stuff this with leaves and use it as a pillow. It's just something bigger. You can, you know, I know guys would get embarrassed, but if you were cold enough and you had these, you can put these on under your pants and they'd at least keep you a little bit warm. Alright, next I've got a little M&M case with some of the Coughlin's fuel tabs. So if I need to cook a cup of coffee, boil some water, any of that, I've got about 6 of them in there. I've got a little flash drive in here in case I need to move information around, anything like that. I do plan on having a separate one excuse me, in each of my kits with important data that'll be encrypted. Next I've got a live fire. It's probably about the best darn tinder you can have. The whole thing itself burns for about 30 minutes, but because it's a sliding tin, you can really control it. I've got 2 AA batteries, rechargeable, for my everyday carry flashlight, my Through Night T10. So I've always got extra batteries in every kit. Okay, this little tin here is a little fire kit. I've got another Bic lighter, Exotac ferro rod, tinder quicks, match strikers, and some stormproof matches in there for really getting a fire started. And here's another little brass tin, and this is kind of my repair all stuff. I've got a bunch of hair ties. I like them better than rubber bands, and my girlfriend is constantly losing hers, so always carry extras, guys. I've got more super glue. I've got some heavy duty thread, booklet of matches. As I said before, with the ones I carry in my wallet, they're not the best, but if it's all you got, it's better than nothing. It takes up virtually no space. Got extra match strikers in case the other ones get wet. Matches are useless without the striker. I've got a couple twist ties in here, along with a P51 can opener. I've got an assortment of safety pins in here in different sizes. It's a small paper clip. There's a couple large paper clips in there. You get the gist of it. All different assortments of stuff. Got extra lead for all my mechanical pencils. I have a scalpel blade. Never know when that's going to come in handy. Got a couple square feet of tin foil. And I have another Fresnel lens. These also come in handy for me because I can't see without my glasses. If I lose them or if they break, that's why I've got them. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I'll come out with the next one as soon as I can.
Alright, I'm back. This is the last piece of that get home bag. This is another little survival tin. As I said in my previous video, I like to keep these with the kits. That way, you know, something imminent is coming, something bad, throw that in your pocket. If you lose everything else you've got, you've at least got something. So as you guys can see, there's probably about 10 feet of paracord wrapped around it. Pull that out. And twist this here. There we go. There's 10 feet of paracord. If you guys want to look at the tin, these are sold on Survival Resources. Okay, inside I have, again, I believe these are like a 1 liter grocery bag for a water container. Got a whistle. I've got 1, 2, looks like 6 tinder quicks. Another Scout fire steel. A little sparker. This came in the kit. This I added in, along with the grocery bag, obviously. Okay, we got some thread. Could also be used as fishing line. Some brass wire. Got a signal mirror. Got a saw. And a razor blade. Got a couple aqua tabs in here. Got a compass. P38 can opener with some duct tape wrapped around it. Got a fishing kit that also has some bobby pins and a sewing needle in there. We've got some tin foil. Couple pieces of Right in the Rain paper. About 6 inches of duct tape, I believe. It's a little stuck on here. And underneath that is a Fresnel lens. It's everything in that tin. It's a pretty good, strong little tin. Oh, I actually forgot. A little miniature pencil in there as well. So you can keep your notes, tell somebody where you're at, write your last will and testament, you know. Alright, that's the final part of the kit. I will have the fourth part, my bug out bag, out as soon as I can. Thanks for watching and thanks for the support, and I'll keep them coming.